Hey guys, long time no see. Today I've got magical beasts, secret societies, and book club drama packed into one chaotic August TBR. You do not want to miss these picks. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Stephanie, a lover of all things stories, and this August I've lined up a TBR full of magical beasts, eerie mysteries, and books that might just become new favorites. If you're looking for fresh fantasy picks, intriguing prompts, or want to see what's caught my eye this month, I've got a stack you'll definitely want to check out. Let's dive in. Now, before I get into all the prompt picks and book club chaos, let's start with what I'm currently reading. Because, yes, I'm already in the middle of two books and they could not be more different. First up, we have We Came to Welcome You by Vincent Terrata. Where beauty lies, secrets are held, ugly ones. Sol Reyes has had a rough year. After a series of workplace incidents at her university lab culminates in a plagiarism accusation, Sol is put on probation. Dutiful visits to her homophobic father aren't helping her mental health, and she finds her nightly glass of wine becoming more of an all day and all bottle event. Her wife, Alice Song, is far more optimistic. After all, the two finally managed to buy a house in the beautiful gated community of Mainless Grove. However, the neighbors are a little too friendly in Sol's opinion. She has no interest in the pushy homeowners association, their bizarrely detailed contract, and their never-ending microaggressions. But Alice simply attributes their pursuit to the community motto, invest in a neighborly spirit, which only serves to irritate Sol more. Suddenly, a number of strange occurrences, doors and stairs disappearing, roots growing inside the house, cause Sol to wonder if her social paranoia isn't built on something more sinister. Yet Sol's fears are dismissed as Alice embraces their new home and becomes increasingly worried, instead about Sol's drinking and manic behavior. When Sol finds a journal in the property from a resident that went missing a few years ago, she realizes why they were able to buy the house so easily. This is the July pick for my roommate's book club. I'll admit, I'm a fan of horror, particularly supernatural and psychological horror, but I still haven't seen Get Out. We Came to Welcome You seems to be very adjacent to Get Out, and I love the added layer that it's a queer couple at the center of the story. At the time of filming this video, I'm about halfway through this book. I can honestly say I don't fully know where it's going. I have some ideas, but just when I think I have it figured out, something happens and I think that's not right. It's very refreshing. The only thing that makes me sad is that I usually fall asleep listening to audiobooks. And while I've fallen asleep to other horror novels before, I cannot do that with this one. It lulls you into a false sense of security and then gives you the literary version of a jump scare. Excellent for horror, not so great for sweet dreams. If you're into psychological or social horror that slowly chips away at your sense of reality, this one's for you. It has that Get Out style tension, layered with microaggressions and creeping dread, plus a queer couple at the center whose relationship adds emotional weight without being the source of the present trauma. But there is past trauma that is covered. And if you love feeling just a little off balance while reading, constantly questioning what's real, you'll probably enjoy the ride. Just maybe trust me and don't listen to the audiobook before bed. And then there's Competitions by Sharon Green. I've already posted the synopsis of this series and talked about why I wanted to read it multiple times on my channel, so I'll just link the most recent one. If you've followed my channel for a while, you know how I felt about the first book in this series. Not my favorite, but I was left intrigued enough to continue to the next book. Sadly, I feel like the main issues I had with the first book are just as bad in the second, particularly the repetition when it comes to the testing process that these characters go through. This is a case of sometimes it's okay to tell and not show. Instead of going through the challenge for each character and being repetitive to a fault, it would have been better to focus only on the tests where something is vastly different and moves the plot forward, and then summarize the rest in a conversation or something. That would have been so much more effective. I'm about halfway through this book, and I will finish it because it is a magical readathon prompt, but unless something changes pretty drastically, I'm finished with this series after this book. If you're someone who enjoys classic fantasy with a heavy emphasis on structured trials, mental and physical competitions, and throwback style narrative voice, this might be worth checking out. It's especially for readers who don't mind repetition in world building or challenge sequences and who are more in it for the premise than the pacing. But if you prefer tightly edited plots with forward momentum and less redundancy, this one might test your patience like it tests its characters. So those are the two that I've already started. But now let's get into the books I have to read this month because the book clubs wait for no one. Both the books I'm about to talk about are giving me magical realism, historical fantasy, and strong female leads. The August book I need to read for my roommate's book club is Water Moon by Samantha Sato Yambao. On a back street in Tokyo lies a pawn shop, but not everyone can find it. Most will see only a cozy ramen restaurant, and just the chosen ones, those who are lost, will find a place to pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Hana Ishikawa wakes up on her first morning as its new owner to find the pawn shop ransacked, the shop's most precious acquisition stolen, and her father missing. And then into the shop stumbles a charming stranger, quite unlike other customers, for he offers help instead of seeking it. Together, they must journey through a mystical world to find Hana's father and the stolen choice, through rain puddles, hitching rides on paper cranes, across the bridge between midnight and morning, and through a night market in the clouds. But as they get closer to the truth, Hana must reveal a secret of her own and risk making a choice she will never be able to take back. I received this as my Owlcrate adult fantasy subscription box. It's an absolutely gorgeous edition. I'd never heard of it when it arrived, and I'll admit to initially being a bit underwhelmed by the premise, but that's changed a bit. This seems like it's going to be the perfect blend of cozy fantasy but with an exciting dash and adventure, and that's pretty much a recipe for success for me. If you're drawn to cozy fantasies with whimsical settings, emotional depth, and a bit of quiet adventure, Watermoon might be right up your alley. It feels like a great pick for fans of The House in the Cerulean Sea or Spirited Away, stories where magic is hidden in everyday places and the journey is as much about healing as it is about the plot. If you love atmospheric reads with gentle pacing, rich metaphors, and just a touch of melancholy, this one seems like it could be a quiet standout. The other book that I know I have to read in August is my online book club book, which is The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope. Clara Johnson talks to spirits, a gift that saved her during her darkest moment in Washington, D.C. jail. Now it's a curse that's left her indebted to the cunning spirit world. So when the Empress, the powerful spirit who holds her debt, offers her an opportunity to gain her freedom, a desperate Clara seizes the chance. The task? Steal a magical ring from the wealthiest woman in the district. But Clara can't pull off this daring heist alone. She'll need help from an unlikely team, from a jazz musician capable of hypnotizing with a melody to an aging vaudeville actor who can change his face to pull off the impossible. As they encounter increasing obstacles, a dangerous spirit interferes at every turn, and conflict in the spirit world begins to leak out into the human one. And along DC's legendary Black Broadway, a mystery is unfolding, one that not only has repercussions for Clara, but all of the city's residents. I've had this on my TBR for ages, so when my friend picked it for our read this month, I was excited. I'm trying to get into more mystery because I love a good whodunit and enjoy looking for clues in the text, though when it comes to mystery, I'm not very good at this yet. If you love historical fantasy with a side of mystery, a strong dose of magic, and a badass black heroine at the center, The Monsters We Defy should definitely be on your radar. It's perfect for readers who enjoy ensemble casts, pulling off daring heists, layered with spirit lores, and set against the vibrant backdrop of the 1920s Washington, D.C. And if you're a fan of atmospheric stories where the stakes are both personal and supernatural, this one seems like it'll deliver on all fronts, with style, soul, and maybe a few twists that you won't see coming. Now that my book club reads are set, it's time to switch gears to the Owlcrate 2025 Reading Challenge. This month's prompts led me to one dark fairy tale retelling and one lush tropical fantasy, both completely different but equally intriguing. Let's get into them. I'm about a month behind in my Owlcrate readathon, so the prompt for July was to read a book about a journey or a quest to return home. After looking at the audiobooks I already own, I chose A Beast and Beauty by Chanda Han. Everyone dreams of marrying a prince, except for me. I am nothing more than a pawn in my adoptive mother's diabolical plot against the Seven Kingdoms. I was the chosen tool, her sharpened blade that would cut the deepest into the heart of the kingdom of Baste. But like all deadly weapons, my wedding is a two-edged sword that could cost me my soul, for I am Rosalie, one of the adopted daughters of Levi Evel, and it is my duty to enter into a loveless and hate-filled marriage with the narcissistic crown prince of Baste. My choices and heart are not my own to give, yet even in the thick of dire situations, beastly vengeance can give way to beautiful attraction. I mean, who doesn't love a Beauty and the Beast retelling, am I right? Plus, add an arranged marriage trope, which is one of my favorite forced proximity tropes of all time, and this is likely going to be enjoyable for me. If you're into dark fairy tale retellings, especially ones with an arranged marriage and a morally gray heroine, this seems like it could be a really fun pick. I'm expecting classic enemies to lovers vibes, sharp banter, and maybe a few twists on the Beauty and the Beast formula. If you like your fantasy a little dramatic, a little romantic, and rooted in familiar tales with a fresh spin, this might be one to keep an eye on. The Owlcrate prompt for this month is to read a book with a central festival or celebration. After looking at my bookshelf and reading several back covers, I stumbled upon a book that mentions a wedding. So I chose Dragon Fruit by Makia Lucier. In the old tales, it is written that the egg of a sea dragon, dragon fruit, holds within it the power to undo a person's greatest sorrow. But as with all things that offer hope when hope had gone, the tale came with a warning: every wish demands a price. Hanalei of Tamarind is the cherished daughter of an old island family, but when her father steals a sea dragon egg meant for an ailing princess, she is forced into a life of exile. In the years that follow, Hanalei finds solace in studying the majestic sea dragons that roam the Nomi Nomi Sea, until one day an encounter with a female dragon offers her what she desires most: a chance to return home and to right a terrible wrong. Samatita Mahanele, Sam, is the last remaining prince of Tamarind, but he can never inherit the throne, for Tamarind is a matriarchal society. With his mother ill and his grandmother nearing the end of her reign, Sam is left with two choices: to marry or to find a cure for the sickness that has plagued his mother for 10 long years. When a childhood companion returns from exile, she brings with her something he has not felt in a very long time: hope. But Hanalei and Sam are not the only ones searching for the dragon fruit, and as they battle enemies both near and far, there is another danger they cannot escape: that of the dragon fruit itself. So I'll be honest, I knew absolutely nothing about this book, other than it sounded like the best option to get as my Book of the Month Club book at the time. So I bought it. Though based on the premise, I think I'm really going to enjoy this book. If you love lush, atmospheric fantasies with island settings, mythical creatures, and high emotional stakes, Dragonfruit sounds like it could be a hidden gem. It seems perfect for readers who enjoy layered world building, folklore inspired magic, and stories about exile, redemption, and second chances. And if you're into slower paced, character driven fantasy with a thread of romance and political tension, this might be one to keep on your radar. With those Owlcrate prompts checked off, it's time to return to the halls of Aurelium, because I am determined to finish the autumn 2024 term. Right now, I'm working towards a distinguished grade in alchemy, which means I need to read a book with food on the cover. And I think I found the one to line up for it: The Outlaws Scarlet and Brown by Jonathan Stroud. Set in a fragmented future England, The Outlaws Scarlet and Brown introduces us to a world where gunfights and monsters collide, and where the formidable outlaw Scarlet McCain fights daily against the odds. When she discovers a wrecked coach on a lonely road, there's only one survivor: the seemingly hapless youth, Albert Brown. Against her instincts, Scarlet agrees to escort him to safety. This is a mistake. Soon, new and implacable enemies are on her heels. As a relentless pursuit continues across the broken landscape of England, Scarlet must fight to uncover the secrets of Albert's past and come to terms with the implications of her own. Okay, so maybe the fact that Scarlet is chewing bubblegum on the cover is a little bit of a stretch for the prompt, but I say it counts. I've been wanting to read this for a while now. As you know, if you've been following me, I'm a huge fan of Lockwood & Co. And this year, I actually had the opportunity to meet Jonathan Stroud at my local bookstore when he released the third book in this series. So I think it's about time that I started. If you're into fast-paced adventure with a mix of dystopian grit, dry humor, and just a hint of the supernatural, this one seems like a great pick. It's especially appealing for fans of morally complex duos, road trip dynamics, and stories where the world is a bit broken but the banter is still top tier. And if you're already a Jonathan Stroud fan, especially from the Lockwood & Co. era like me, you'll probably enjoy the sharp writing and layered characters that come with the territory. If you've read any of these, or if one just jumped into your TBR, let me know in the comments because I love hearing your thoughts and adding even more books to my list because clearly I need help with that. Don't forget to hit like if you enjoy TBR videos like this, and subscribe so you don't miss my August wrap up because I will report back on how many of these I actually finish. Let's see what stories tomorrow brings.